students, today we are doing Do 2, which is called Sweet Tea. You have this journal page in a little packet that you picked up. If you don't have it, that's okay. But you can do this experiment with me if you want. If you have like a digital scale at home or something that can measure in grams. However, if you just want to follow along, that's okay too. In your baggie, I gave you guys a sugar cube and a little baggie of instant tea. But again, if you want to just follow along, that is a-okay. So yesterday we talked about Do 1, matter changing states, and we had our 3 tins where we melted and then weighed, and then once it was solid again, we weighed them again to see if there were any changes in the mass, and which is one of the properties. And we found that minus human error, right, with our little hole, there weren't any changes. Our wax stayed the same at 9 grams. Our shortening stayed the same at 16.8 grams. And the butter had a little hole in it. So we found out that humans can make experiments go a little bit wrong sometimes, which is okay. But that went down about 8/10 because it had a hole in it. So today we are going to be looking at creating some sweet tea and seeing what our mass will be of different materials, and as we add them together, what the mass, what happens to the mass. So the first thing we're gonna do is weigh our cup of water. And so here's my little cup of water. I'm gonna put it on my scale over here. I'm not gonna knock it off. And I am going to, so if I put this all the way over, you can tell my ones right here in grams isn't enough. Even my tens is not enough. So I'm gonna have to move my middle one, which is the 100. So there's 100, oh, 200, nope. 300's too heavy. So we have 200, 200, where's my 10? 10, 20 is too heavy. So 210, and then I gotta, sometimes I just like to go over to 5 to see. 5 is too little. Oop, 8 is too heavy. 7's too heavy, maybe 5.5. Nope. 6. Maybe we'll try 6.5. Little bit too heavy, let's try 6. Thought I tried 6, okay. Sorry, I gotta get a little bit over it. Actually, 5.5 is looking better. So we have 200, well, hold on. Being kind of persnickety. Okay, so we have 210, 5.3. So 215 and 3/10. And honestly, I didn't do the 100 milliliter of water, but we've got water in there. So calling it good. All right, our next thing that we need to do is measure the powdered drink mix. So I went ahead before and folded up a baggie and found how much the baggie weighed, which is 5 5/10 grams, so that I could subtract it from however much is in our bag here. So I'm just gonna kind of fold it up so it's all on our scale. That's gonna be way too heavy. And then I'm going to swoosh it over. So it looks like it's about 9.5 with the cup, or with the baggie and the powdered drink mix. So that means that I need to take the baggie out of there because I'm not gonna be adding the baggie to the cup. I'm going to be just adding that powdered drink mix. So if I have 9.5, take away 5.5, so I have a little subtraction problem right here. I'm just gonna subtract like normal. Line up my decimal because I'm subtracting decimals. 5 take away 5 is 0. Decimals, 9 minus 5 is 4. So our powdered drink mix is 4 grams. That's what that little G means there. So then I'm gonna dump this into my cup of water. and see how we do. I might have a little residue left in my baggie, so maybe that would be a little bit of error there that might account for if we're off by a little bit. Getting a little on the table. Ah, kind of messy. Do any of you like tea? I was never a big tea drinker as a child. My mom would always have tea. All right, I got a lot of it out of there. It's still kind of dirty. I have a handy dandy stir stick and Butterfingers. Okay, and it's bubbling. I'm gonna stir it in there. And you can see that the water's changing color, but really there's no like clumps in here. I'm not gonna drink it, so I might try to get these extra little tidbits in there. Ew. Again, not a big tea drinker. I don't know about you guys, but tea is not for me most of the time. Okay, I stirred it all in there. The water changed color, but all the little particles have dissolved into the water, which is what made it change color. So now I'm gonna weigh this. We're gonna start at our 215 and 3/10. So we've got 210, 215 and 3/10. And you can see our thing is still bouncing up to the top on here. Maybe I'll push this down a little. Swoop. So that means I've got to push it over a little bit more than what it originally was just in the cup. And if you think about it, well, we added a material to it. So it makes sense that our weight or our mass is going to go up. And I say mass and not weight because we're finding it on a balance scale with grams. Weight is affected by the gravity of our Earth. So that's why it's different. Okay, so I'm gonna swoosh this over a little. So we went over not quite enough. That might be a little too much. So it's looking like 17.1. So 217.1. So if I'm looking at this, 15, 16, 17, I only went up really like about 2 grams. And so what I would think there is that my baggie had a little bit to do with that. What I spilled on the table had a little bit to do with that. And I mean, you can see even in the corner of my baggie, I've got some like stuck in the bag. So we've got a little bit of human error there, but you can see that when we added a drink mix to it, the mass went up. And that's, you know, even though we can't see the teeny tiny little particles in here, there's some like caught on the edge of the cup, it's still in there. Okay, so then now we're gonna measure our sugar. Beep. And, okay, so already that's too much. Oh, well, I'm leaning on it. Goodness, Miss Collins. Okay, too much. Choop, choop, choop. Too little. Okie dokie. So we are at, gotta let it, might be a little low there. 4 2/10 grams. So I'm gonna fill that in here. Our sugar is 4 2/10 grams. And then I'm going to drop it in here and help it dissolve by stirring it up, hopefully. Wow. Stir, stir, stir. Very exciting. This would probably be better if it wasn't a sugar cube, honestly. But it's starting to disintegrate. You can see on there, it's getting smaller. Stir, stir, stir. So think about, what do you think is gonna happen now that our sugar cube was about 4 2/10 grams and we're adding that to our powdered drink mix? What do you think is going to happen to our overall mass of everything? Getting close. Still see some sugar particles at the end, so I'm just stirring it in there. Stir, stir, stir. High tech, right? Super fancy. No. All right, we've got almost all of it dissolved. Just a couple particles at the bottom. I think, dare I say it, I think we're good. Not really seeing anything left in there. So the sugar has dissolved into it. Can't see it in there anymore. And also it's very dark because it's tea. So I'm gonna set it back on my scale. I'm gonna start at 215. Or actually I should start at 217 and 110. See, and you can tell, well, I added something to it. So my little measure guy is up at the top. It's not heavy enough over here. I haven't balanced it correctly. So I'm gonna go over to 10. Whoop, not enough. So then I'm gonna go over to 20. And we're gonna be close. Honestly? Maybe over just a smidge over here. So we've got 220 and 3/10. Marker. Okay. And so our, grams, need my label. The mass of the cup of water, the powdered sugar drink, the powdered drink and the sugar has gone up because we've been adding things to it. Again, we talked about how the human error, I've got tea left in this bag that was weighed, that isn't in there. There's some stuck in the little crevices right here. So that's not gonna go up quite as much as what I had said there, 17. Went up about 3 with our sugar. Wondering, I mean, it's all dissolved in there. So, again, just might be a little bit of human error because, but it's about how much we added to it. Being off by a gram is a teeny tiny little amount. But you can see that as we add things to it, even though it's dissolving into the water, the mass is still going up. And that is our big takeaway, that as things are combined, our mass increases. Even if you can't see it, the matter is still there. Matter is everywhere. Alrighty, you are gonna have a question at the end of this video right here to answer and kind of problem solve through based off of this activity.